Black woman from Sonoma County. I want you to understand these are my experiences. I was born in Santa Rosa, raised in a two-parent home with a very loving family. We had the privilege of attending private schools, participating in various activities like ballet, tap, dance, soccer, basketball, campfire, vacation Bible school, upward bound, you name it, we were in it. My parents felt very strongly about making sure their kids were well-rounded individuals, but made sure we were very familiar with our heritage. We were raised in a very pro-Black home. We went to African American museums in Los Angeles. We were involved in Jack and Jill, which afforded us opportunities to socialize with other Black children that lived in Sonoma County. We attended Black plays and musicals and learned about our culture. I recall us all singing on stage together Whitney Houston's song, The Greatest Love of All. I still get goosebumps every time I hear that song. My parents got us Black comic books that taught us about African American history, since the schools did not feel it was important enough to put it in their curriculum. By the time I graduated out of high school, I said I was leaving this town and never coming back. I hated Sonoma County. I cannot quite put my finger on it, but I knew it had to do with the lack of diversity. As I like to say, I did not feel comfortable in my own skin. I felt like I was here, but not seen, that I was around, but overlooked, that I just wasn't good enough. When I moved to Sacramento and attended Sac State University, I had this feeling of freedom. I noticed that when I went to the mall, the people at the store would greet me as I entered. I was never followed by the employees while I shopped. The white people spoke to you and had casual conversation. When you entered a building, people would speak to you and not stare at you as if you were from another planet. There were people from multiple ethnic groups and everyone was comfortable with it. There was even a channel called BET that I had never seen, since it was not available in Sonoma County when I grew up. When I walked past an individual, they did not clutch their purse and cross the street or lock their doors. They made eye contact and smiled and said hello. Every time I applied for a job, I got it. I had multiple jobs while I attended college. Right after I graduated, I got my ideal job right out of college. I even spent the summer of 1998 in Germany due to punishment, but it ended up being the best experience in my life. They would ask me where I was from, and I would tell them the States. They were in shock. They said, "We never see people like you on the commercials or in the magazines." They were perplexed, but very friendly and kind. No judgment. I used to hang out in LA because my best friend, who was white, attended Occidental College. I noticed that people there were just as friendly. I had no intention of ever moving back to Sonoma County. I realized that the microaggressions were so subtle, but yet so damaging. Well, lo and behold, I get into a relationship with someone who lived in Santa Rosa. And next thing I knew, I was moving back to Sonoma County, but with a baby girl. Yikes. So many emotions rushed through me when I realized I was moving to Windsor, not even Santa Rosa. And on top of all of that, I was about to raise an Afro-Latina girl into this very unwelcoming area. How was I going to model to her how to be confident in an area that has zero respect for you? How to be proud of who you are and stand tall in a crowd because all eyes will be on you. My oldest daughter looks more Latina than my youngest daughter, so she was better received in this area. My youngest daughter is a lot darker and looks more African American, but she is a force to be reckoned with. She has learned to speak truth to power. Unfortunately, the education system out here has taken its toll on her. She was that student who always raised her hand at every opportunity, and she's a kinesthetic learner, so she's always moving. I remember her asking me, "Mom, why don't the teachers call on me? Or why am I never the teacher's pet? They always vote for the same kids to be peacemakers. Why do the yard duty teachers always send me to the office for dress code violations when someone right next to me is wearing the exact same thing?" I did not want to break her spirit, so I told her, "Baby girl, just pray for them." The kids who were brown would mock her when she said she was Puerto Rican and Nicaraguan and tell her that her Spanish does not count. By the time she hit 5th grade, she asked me why she had to go to school. She would rather stay home and read all day or either paint or draw. That question broke my heart. My oldest daughter struggles in school, and I recall her middle school math teacher telling me that she was overbearing and he would not adjust his teaching style for students who learn differently. I made sure to tell her male teacher that her mom is overbearing too, because I recall that statistic that says African American girls are more likely to get disciplined in school. Another teacher read a story to the class and commented that all black people live in the ghetto, which my daughter was very offended. She said, "Mom, don't we own our home? And we all have our own rooms." I did have a conversation with the teacher, and she did apologize for her implicit bias, but by then, it was too late. How many students had heard that comment that reinforced their negative thoughts about black people? The most recent incident involved my mother dropping off root beer to the classroom after she went to the office and followed visitor protocol and was told to drop the root beer off in the classroom. After my mother dropped off the drinks, my daughter's teacher says out loud, "I thought your mom was an active shooter." I am grateful that I can have these conversations with my children and tell them to pray for their enemies and those that despitefully use them. I also have taught them to speak truth to power. I have worked for the County of Sonoma for 15 years. 10 years I worked at Juvenile Hall, mostly on the maximum security unit. There are so many racial disparities within that system that time will not allow. Earlier in my career there, I applied for the probation officer position. I actually got it since I had been turned down so many other times before. I was ecstatic. 1 month later, I received a letter that said I was no longer eligible for the position because I did not fit the profile. I called Human Resources and asked, what was the profile? And they said they could not tell me except it was the same profile as my current position at Juvenile Hall and that I was doing a great job. They left me with no explanation. That was devastating, and I had to give it over to God because I did not want to be bitter. I received an award at Juvenile Hall, and my director made sure to tell me that I received the award because of my peers, not from the department. Whoa. While working at Juvenile Hall, we were not faithful to our mission statement, so I was always applying for eligibility positions. I went on more than 8 interviews with them. After applying for their employment training position, I finally got the job. I recognized there were at least 2 other black women, and we all had our bachelor's degree, but I soon realized that most of the women there were white, and I think maybe 2 of them had degrees. I love my job, and I'm grateful for it, but Sonoma County has a lot of work that needs to be done if they want to address the issues of racism. Thank you.